Finished with 18 offers out of high school. Was leading scorer in my conference MVP, all the accolades. Went to Wake Forest. Had a decent career there, but tore my labrum, and ended up transferring to a junior college for a year. Broke some records there. Hold the record for most threes in a single game, most points in a single game. I think there was one more, but I forget it. Then I went to San Jose State in California, where I had a pretty decent career as well. I was my senior year the third leading scorer in the country before I suffered a concussion towards the near the end of the season, but still had a good showing and went on to be a pro. Played pro ball in Germany, played in the Dominican Republic, even had a combine, tried out for the G League Warriors, had a child, so I decided to put everything on shutdown just to focus on that and get everything situated with that. And now I'm back and better than ever.
Yes, indeed. I'm better than ever. And it's such a blessing to have one of my mentors once again here with us this morning, Coach Roland Ross, who has been one of my guides and mentors and father figures since the early 90s. And so I'm Coach Roland Ross. Once again, my brother, I am super excited for the effort, to say the least, that yourself and Coach Q, you guys have done some incredible things within the past weeks to help this young man. I'm getting ready for this job interview in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Coach Ross, please talk a little bit about yourself and this particular project with Richard Washington and all of the effort and the wisdom and the blood, sweat, and tears that you guys have put into this young man to make him who he is up until Sunday when he gets on that plane. So I want you to just be humble. We know you're a very humble person, but we want you to do some bragging today, because you have put in some work with this young man. I'm sure Coach Q will agree.
Well, I'll start by saying, Coach Q and I work together, coach together here at the university, and we have formulated a good tag team type of chemistry. So I kind of followed his lead a little bit, working with the 21st century kid. But more importantly, I think for me, Richard is a byproduct of what the 757 area code stands for in terms of a level of excellence with players coming out of the area. I mean, we've had some NBA players like the Allen Iversons and the Joe Smiths and the Alonzo Mournings, and even one player that played for me here, Christian Newport, Lamont Struthers. But Richard has possessed a skill set that is highly regarded now as one of the most powerful tools in the game of basketball, the three-point shot. And so by me knowing him personally and, having Coach Q around to be able to just reemphasize some reading and some skills development, just to sharpen his axe a little bit. We were blessed to be able to do that with him. My prayer is that he goes and not just represents his family and himself, but, we in the 757 believe in what we do. So, I don't say it's a level of arrogance. I just say it's a level of what we stand for. We're not trying to put anybody out there that's from the 757 area code that's not ready, and we believe in our product. So I've been excited to know that hopefully he will continue to represent the area like a lot of guys have done before him.
Yes, sir, Coach. It's one of those things where you and I have morning talks, morning briefs before Richard gets started around 8 o'clock in the morning. And we always talk about the day before and So you sing the praises of Coach Q, who I've never had the chance to meet as of yet, but I'm looking forward to getting down this season to share and to learn from you guys. You guys are doing some great things down there, winning championships, guiding young men. Coach Q, I would love for you, if you will, talk a little bit about your involvement and the way that you've seen Richard grow during your time working with him, and the things that you look forward to him executing, the things that he did on a daily basis, baseline to baseline, shooting threes, whether it be coming off the screen, one dribble pull up, things that you, from what I understand from Coach Ross, you personally took your time to make sure that this young man understood the concepts and going back over them, as we all have to do as teachers of the game. Coach Q, talk a little bit about your involvement and the way you've seen him grow and what you expect from him on the next level.
So first of all, I'm just appreciative of the opportunity to be able to work out somebody that's chasing a dream. Not many people know my background, but I'm a big believer in, doing whatever it takes to achieve a dream, because, we all got dreams and we got the right to chase them, no matter our circumstance, the situation that we're in. So I know that's the situation when it comes to Richard, and I was just happy to be a part of somebody's dream and journey, and I'm definitely hoping for the best and praying for the best in his situation. But in terms of my involvement, I was just asked by Coach Ross to put him through some drills. We only had 7 days, and the goal of that was just to get him as ready as possible. As you mentioned, going through some overseas concepts, going through some pitch back stuff, DHO, a lot of down screen, a lot of shooting, because for my understanding of the game at the international level, it's a lot of running, a lot of conditioning, running off different actions and stuff like that. But the three ball is heavily involved in what they do, no matter what system he goes into. So just getting him a little bit more familiar with those actions, and just getting him a more feel for it, just because, like he mentioned before, he had to put his dreams on hold due to him having his child. But now that he wants to get back into it, the game has definitely changed, regardless if it's been 2 years or 1 year. So just getting him back up to speed, and obviously the biggest part for us is working on his conditioning. As I mentioned, we only had 7 days, but one thing that was really that really stood out was from the first day all the way to the 7th day, the increase in focus, the increase in conditioning, the increase in the repetitions that we did. He showed improvement in every single one of those categories day by day. And I think it's going to really pay off. He also was doing 2-a-days. Coach Ross was the main leader of the second workout of those days, and I think that in itself just got him a little bit more prepared for the next level, where they do a lot of 2-a-days. And even if they don't, it gets them into that mindset and that routine of like, hey, you did the team stuff, but maybe it's time to put in a little bit of extra work, because at the end of the day, everybody at the next level is fighting for the next contract. So I just think he did a really good job from start to finish. And, I'll speak from my personal mindset. I heard a lot about Richard Washington coming in, his background, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. The first workout, I was not impressed at all. And then as the days went by, I started gaining more confidence in him and understanding more like, okay, like this is why this kid went to Wake Forest out of high school. This is why this kid is trying to fight for this pro contract, because I'm from Tampa, Florida. It's not as rich as the 757. Football runs the world down there. But I've been around pros, more notably Kevin Austin went to Tampa Catholic, went to Kentucky, got drafted by the Knicks. So, I know what pros are supposed to look like and how they work out. And once the days that went by, it started looking more and more like, okay, like he actually definitely has a chance to play at the next level. Like he really wants this, as I mentioned, increased time and focus, showing up at 7:50 now, doing the 10-minute workout with Coach Ross, showing up earlier, wanting to get an extra drill in, after we were done, quote unquote, done with the workout and stuff like that. So it's just been a blessing that I was able to be a part of this. And as I mentioned, my expectation for Richard Washington is just to chase his dream. Like, I don't really put expectations on people. I just think you need to go out and perform and do the work that you put in, and everything else and take care of yourself. So yeah.
Yes, indeed, Coach. Once again, I want to say, as the owner of Milton Bell Global Basketball, I want to say, Coach Q, thank you for everything that you do for us up here in Richmond, Virginia. It's incredible to have a support system with one of my mentors, Coach Ross. To me, I think our listeners before have heard about us, and he's a special young man. Richard Washington, I would love for you to reciprocate and talk a little bit about how you have grown at Christopher Newport University these past couple of weeks working with Coach Ross and Coach Q, and show them some love as well, and talking about how they prepared you and what your mindset was maybe when you came in versus this morning when you finished. And I want you to talk a little bit about yourself and talk a little bit about how you've grown as a player from Mitchville High School to now here we are about to travel to Argentina for your first job interview there.
I guess if we're going back that far, might as well go all the way. I mean, I've been playing the game since I was 3, so basketball has been all I've ever really known. And I've always loved the game, but I love the game because I love the game. It wasn't no politics to it. It wasn't no big about it. I just genuinely enjoy basketball. So, I can remember being 12, 13, 14, 15, waking up 6 o'clock in the morning just to walk across to my local church just to get workouts in. And because not because I wanted to be the best or I was trying to get anywhere, it's just because I really just enjoyed playing basketball. So as the years went on, and I got to experience the world, experience it from a more professional level, it altered my mind, my spirit around the space, and I needed to give it up, needed to get away from it, and because I felt like I was losing why I enjoyed the game. And I really, over this past year, I got to train kids 13, 12, and I got excited about the game again, and it reminded me why I did this. So this new mindset that I have is all kind of like a rebirth, getting back to myself and why I truly enjoy this game. I play this because it's my love, because it's my passion, and right now I see an opportunity to prove that I am everything that I think that I am. So I kind of forget your question, but I'm kind of going on a rant.
Hey, no worries, man. No worries. I want you to talk about yourself.
Yeah,
yes.
My mindset right now is this is who I am. This is what I do. And I'm not letting anything or anyone take that from me again.
Yes, indeedy, man. Before we turn the mic over to Coach Ross, I want to just say that I'm super proud of you from a basketball player standpoint. I'm super proud of you for maintaining your focus and to continue to have that love for the game. And I think that's one of the beautiful things. Coach Q just said it. It's dedication, and it's a love for the game that we've all had from a young age. So from a company standpoint, I want to say welcome. I'm honored that you would choose us to help you go forward in your pro career, and the sky's the limit for you. You and I are the same size, so if an old guy like me can do it, there's no reason why you can't do it either. I would like to see you play until they're 40 years old, 45 years old. Coach Roland Ross, you still there with us? My mentor, my Obi-Wan.
Yes, sir.
Good. I want you to please talk a little bit about and maybe ask Richard some questions that I think you have for him that we would love to hear about his growth and the spiritual growth that this young man has made. If I'm understanding you correctly, I would love for you to talk to him a little bit about where you've seen him come from, a young kid who was a neighbor, to now he's about to take his first job interview in Argentina, and talk a little bit about his growth. And we want to hand you the mic and the floor. I'm Coach Ross, if you will.
Here at our job with Coach Q and I, and our staff, we've been tasked with always emphasizing these two words that to me has resonated in your life's journey is, don't necessarily always worry about the results. Worry about the process, and the results will take care of itself. And so in the game of life, even at my age and my experience level, I've been blessed to benefit from Richard as well as Coach Q of recent. Just some, I won't use the word religious, but just some culturalistic things that occur with different countries, different from the U.S. of A. And I've kind of learned a little bit more about what some of my process would look like, so that the results can end up being a little bit more beneficial for me and my dreams, because I think everybody should have some form of purpose and dreams in their life. And the growth that I've seen Richard, who was a young person living in my neighborhood, to a young adult who is truly about business, of just growing in life in general. Just simple things as we don't hear a lot of the young people today talk about proper nutrition and proper physical mentality, much less, how all that connects to with a spiritual existence. And then I got the pleasure to be with Coach Q a lot, and all he has done, along with what Richard has said, a lot of things is kind of re-emphasize that, Coach Ross, you got to understand, we all, and Coach Q says it in a little different way, but it means the same thing. We all were blessed, born differently. But the main goal for all of us is to live as long of a prosperous life as we can, doing the things that fulfill our dreams and aspirations. And they both have brought, even in our workouts, they both have brought a element of energy to what it's like to. And I'm not trying to be funny, but like I'm old school. I thought when they had Slurpees, that was the best thing going. But now, they got the smoothies, and they got, the protein this and the that, and for it, some of the stuff does matter. And I'm just excited to see both guys. I'm excited to see Coach Q grow with a level of understanding what God has given him in terms of a talent, in terms of being able to take somebody through a workout to help them fulfill their dreams off of his ability to understand skills and skills and drills. And then Richard to be a recipient on the other end, because he has played at the highest level. And he has what we consider a little bump in the road. So a lot of times bumps in the road that's what they are. Bumps in the road is not the bump in the road, is how you respond from the bump in the road. And so now we're hoping that he's taking some of the things that this opportunity will provide for his future. And I just know that deep down inside that the God that we all serve has a higher calling and a higher purpose for all of our existence, to be able to fulfill our dreams as we we try to go after them. And I'm just excited for him being able to go. And again, I will say it, I can't say it enough. You know, in the state of Virginia, there's 2 main area codes that always compete. But the 757 is real special and dear to my heart. And I like to always say that the guys that leave this area to go represent this area with their heart and their mind, you know, I want him to represent himself and his family first, and then the rest will follow. Yeah, I'm just excited for him. And I'm just thankful for the opportunity just to be just a little small clog in the wheel that can help that wheel turn in such a way that other people can see how the maturity of both men, Coach Q, Richard, how, you know, God can, hey, look, if he can take an older guy like me and be able to say, hey, just keep working hard, that things can happen. I thank him for the opportunity he's given me.
Yes, sir, Coach. Yes, sir. And I'm learning something as well today doing this podcast. I try to learn something every day. I'm learning that God has maybe given me the opportunity to help some young people, giving you and I, Coach Ross, a chance to help some young people in Coach Q and in Richard Washington. And so that's the beauty of life, is trying to give back and giving people a chance, helping someone. And I think that's what this is all about. It's what life is all about. I have a son as well that plays pro basketball, and he's going to need some help. He needs help getting to the next level. Richard Washington, talk a little bit about your preparation, Coach. His preparation, I know these young guys have all types of, and we're not going to keep you too long, Richard, but we want to kind of give those ball players listening, that clients listening that are probably will be traveling with us in the next group in October. Talk a little bit about your preparation and your are you into cryotherapy? Are you into icing afterwards? Are you into massages? What has helped you get your body into the shape that it's in now? Because I have to be honest, we've talked about it before. We had some clients that went last time with us that bodies shut down on them. They were not able to finish the workout. So they were only able to finish 4 days out of 7 days. And that's why Coach Ross and I wanted to get you in the gym so that your body will be prepared and it won't break down on you. So talk a little bit about your routine before we let you go, Richard, in closing. We want to share with our coaches and people listening, what does a professional, what do you do? Because every ball player has a different routine. What's your routine?
So for me, I tell my younger guys that you got to put just as much time into your body as you do your workout. So, I do my yoga. I'm real big on maintenance. So, making sure that things are strong and sturdy. So, standing on one leg, or maybe doing a squat on one leg, or various range of motions with certain things. I was just outside with Coach Q. I was on the after one of our workouts. Just doing some stability work on the stairs. Nothing like super rigorous, but something just to keep my body strong. Then obviously my diet, making sure that I'm fasting, making sure that I'm eating the right foods, and then the most important piece is the mental piece, making sure I'm putting the right things into my mind. Deleted all my social media over the past 2 weeks just to be focused. Only really watching motivational YouTube videos and looking up what the culture is like as far as basketball in Argentina, just making sure that I'm prepared mentally and staying in tune spiritually, saying my prayers, and making sure that I'm connected with earth, connected with God, and all that. So it's really it's a full-time job, taking care of yourself. And when you're doing something as rigorous as a professional sport, You got to be adamant about that. You can't. It's not a lot of time off. It's really a 24/7 deal.
Yes, indeed, it is. Coach Ross, talk a little bit, brother. We want you here. He's a special young man, as you told me. I've had a chance to talk to his father on a couple occasions, and he seems to be very dedicated. Coach Ross, talk a little bit about the young man and his path to greatness, if you will. And feel free to ask him any questions. I know you and I had talked about. The floor is yours, Coach Ross.
I don't have a lot of questions. I think what part of our main focus on our preparation was to, if you really condition the mind and the body, then they both will find a way to work hand in hand as he pursues any journey, especially anything that's a professional sport like basketball. So we're hopeful that piece occurred. The question I have is, it's a twofold question. I'm going to make a statement first, and then this may shock you. Old person told me a long time ago, if you believe you can, then you will. But if you believe you can't, then you won't. It won't happen. Richard, what makes you feel like you're ready for this opportunity?
What makes you feel like I'm ready for this opportunity? I think it's more of a mental thing. I understand where I am mentally, and yeah, there's not an ounce of fear in me. I feel like anything that's put in front of me, I'm going right through it. So, yeah. There's failure in my mind right now.
Yeah.
And we had I think the joy for me was just to watch him. And this is what I would say to all the listeners. When Coach Q came aboard, just to show you what it's like to be able to multitask. He worked a full-time basketball, and then he worked a part-time tutoring just to make ends meet. And within that part-time tutoring, it was all foreign language connected. So we've had a chance to kind of work with Richard intermittently about the language and kind of make sure that he's prepared a little bit in that regard. And so me being old school, as he learned, I'm trying to learn from him so that I can, act like I know what I'm talking about. So I do know how to say hola and adios, But I grew up in an era where French was popular, but right now Spanish is so popular. But again, to me shows that he is really focused about the business ahead, and that he's, in the life, and just in his life in general, they're going to be every day you wake up something new, and something like they say in the Bible. God provides us with new grace and new mercies, and the learning part of all that is, you just got to be open-minded to learn new things, and I don't want to go around and say hola and adios at the wrong time. But, it could be morning I'm saying goodbye or good night. But every now and then, man, I like to keep things light because, like Richard said, he has no fear. And just don't go to Argentina saying bonjour when you should be saying hola.
Yes.
So I feel like he's prepared. And just as long as he realizes that the process is the process, don't worry about the results. The results will take care of
Yes,
itself.
indeed. Yes, indeed, Coach. Once again, for those just joining us, maybe a little behind schedule, we are on our, and we're talking to our newest client, Richard Washington, today on our Globe Warriors podcast for our Milton Bell Global Media podcast. Today being the September 14th, 2024. And we have Coach Ross and Coach Q from Christopher Newport University. And Richard, at this time, do you have any social media that you want to share for those younger players or potential clients that want to ask what your process was about? Do you do social media, or if you have any, please feel free to share those at this time for those that want to follow you and follow your journey.
Yeah, sure. Rich Dub 33 on Instagram. It's really the only thing that I use at the moment.
Okay. And of course, if anyone has any questions or any comments for Coach Q or Coach Ross, you guys can, or myself, for that matter, you guys can reach out to me here on our company cell phone, area code 702-908-1501, or our company email, which is milton.bell@miltonbellbasketball.com. We are on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, all of your streaming platforms. So please tune into us to hear more from Richard Washington. Richard, we promise that we won't keep you long today. You have a lot of family stuff that you want to do and that we need you to do. In closing, we just want to give you the opportunity to, and this is part one for our listeners. This is the part one portion of our Global Warriors podcast, Milton Bell Global Media. Richard will also be doing part two from Argentina coming up this week. So for our listeners saying that they only get a small time to listen to him, no, this is his first podcast with us, an introductory podcast, but he will be broadcasting live multiple times during his time in Argentina. Right. Richard Washington, we want to give you the floor to close out your introductory podcast with some shout outs to some people, maybe in your family or any coaches that you want to shout out to. But we want to get you to close out our part one with some shout outs and some people that you want to speak, say hello and thank you to.
Just thank you to all my family. Q, Coach, for taking me in and believing in me and putting in the work. It's been a blessing, and it's great to make those connections. So grateful and ready for the opportunity to do something special with my life.
Yes, indeed. Coach Ross, in closing, brother, we want you to take us on out on part one, if you don't mind. And you will also be starting part two with Richard as well. Coach Ross, but please.
Hey, as Coach Q is, we use the word, and we don't use it lightly because Richard uses the word when we describe its value, as well as Milton, this being your company. But when, we talk about giving people flowers while they're living. I've been doing this a long time, and Coach Q, not just privately but publicly, I think a lot of accolades and the way that Richard went from where he was to where he is right now. That word elite continually comes up about what you were able to do to help this young man, and from me to you, as well as from Milton. I know Richard feels the same way, that that was probably one of the biggest reasons why the word belief continually pops up, because without work there's no action behind it, and we just thank you for your involvement. And as every day I wake up, and I didn't mean for this to turn into something that is more spiritual than it should be, but in the book of Jeremiah 29:11, it is stated that God has a plan for us, a plan for future, and a great hope. And we just wish Richard and the global Milton Bell Global Basketball much prosperity, and that we just hope that Richard goes over there and just do his best. That's all we can ask. Just be the very best version of himself, and then the process will be continued, and the results will take care of itself. We thank you all for having us today.
Yes, sir, Coach. Perfect. We'll end on that note. Part 1 with our new client, Richard Washington, Coach Roland Ross, Christopher Newport, great, Coach Q, Christopher Newport, young legend. Thank you guys for tuning in to us today for our Milton Bell Global Media Podcast, September 14th. We will have more this week, more information on Richard's journey. And we want to say thank you to everyone. All right, thank you guys for tuning in.